All right, we have some news into our newsroom here. A verdict has been reached in the Erin Andrews case. The jury has awarded Ms. Andrews $55 million in her civil lawsuit over the secret recording and release of a video showing her naked during a hotel stay. Andrews sued a Nashville Marriott hotel after those nude photos and the video of her were recorded in 2008 by a stalker who was staying in the hotel room next to her. The videos were later posted on the web. She sued the owners and the management of that hotel for $75 million. Jury is awarding her $55 million. Joining us now by the phone is Marie Napoli, a trial attorney. Marie, this verdict was reached in just a couple of hours. What do you make of it?
Hi. I think that the verdict was reached quickly because there was a real wrong done here to this young woman. The hotel had a duty to her to make sure that she was safe. This stalker inquired as to where she was staying. They did not know who he was. They gave out this information and booked him in the room right next to her. It clearly was foreseeable that she could be subject to some kind of danger. And, the defense tried to argue that her profile had just gone up because of it. And I think the old adage that any publicity is good, is clearly not flying here. And I think the jury was angered by it. I think she deserves it.
And Marie, we're just seeing video just taken moments ago of Ms. Andrews leaving the courtroom after that verdict was awarded to her. Clearly a sort of satisfied expression on her face as she walked out surrounded by her lawyers. Does it strike you strange that the hotel and the hotel operators wouldn't at least have offered, maybe they did, but they would have offered some kind of a deal, some kind of an arrangement with Ms. Andrews rather than going to trial to settle this thing?
I do find that strange. Even at the point of trial, there may have been some settlement offers back and forth, but nothing close to what she was looking for. And obviously, they made light of what she went through. And I think this would be horrific for any woman to have to deal with this over the internet for everyone to see. Her private body and undressing is just really unconscionable. And I think the jury spoke and they recognized that.
Yeah, the lawyers for the hotel operators tried to say to her that, or when they had her on the stand, they tried to mention that her career seemed to take off after these videos were released, but clearly the jury not buying that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They try to make it seem that any publicity is good publicity, but no one wants your career to take off to be, you don't want to be infamous. You want to be famous, not infamous. And I think that may have even angered the jury. I know it would have angered me. So, and I think that's what you're seeing with this substantial verdict.
And the hotel also, and the hotel operators tried to say, or tried to argue at least, that the convicted stalker, Michael David Barrett, should be the one solely to blame for the video that was shot in 2008. Clearly, again, the jury not going for that.
Well, no, he was definitely to blame, but the hotel had a responsibility to her as well. They had a responsibility not to give out the private information of her staying in the hotel, of where she was staying in the hotel, and booking this man right next to her without any inquiry, without telling her, without, it was complete negligence. And so they had a duty, and they breached that duty to her, and she was severely damaged by it. So I think both the actual person that did this and the hotel are both responsible.
Walked into the coach's offices to sit down and talk about offense and defense.
Yeah, in fact, Marie, there is a live picture up that we're probably going to be going to very, very soon. There, our viewers can see a live picture where we expect at some point, perhaps some of the attorneys, we're not sure which ones, will take to the podium and perhaps take some questions from members of the press. So as you were pointing out, Michael David Barrett is this guy who took the videos and posted them online. He'd also done this to other women.
Yes, that's what I understand. And he obviously is a danger to women generally. I don't know if he had a criminal background, or whether or not the hotel had any obligation to checked that. I wouldn't believe so. But they have the minimum obligation to say to this woman, this man is inquiring about you and he wants the room next to you. Do you know who he is? Should we give out this information?
So I'm hearing in my... Sorry, Marie, I was just, one of the producers in my ear was telling me that the hotel operator and the hotel owners are expected to pay 49% of that award of $55 million. And Michael Barrett will pay 51%. You know, I mean, this kind of, can she expect to see this money? At least she'll probably see the 49% from the hotels, but...
She'll see it from the hotel. I don't know if this individual, I highly doubt that he is of the means, if he's doing this kind of stuff, if he's the type of person of the means to pay such a judgment. But either way, she will have the money from the hotel, and she will be vindicated as to the hotel and to the stalker.
And that's part of this, right, Marie? I mean, she asked for $75 million. It seemed to me, at least, that this was not really about the money, but just about making a statement that this was terrible and this was wrong.
Absolutely. And half of what I mean, I'm sure she's very happy to be compensated, but it's more about her standing up for herself and saying this was really wrong and I was really victimized. So, and she got that. So all I can say is good for her.
All right, Marie Napoli, thank you so much for joining us. As we've been telling our viewers, we are expecting at some point that attorneys will be speaking about this verdict. In case that you're just joining us, Erin Andrews, the ESPN and Fox Sports anchor and now also co-host of TV's Dancing with the Stars, has just been awarded $55 million in her lawsuit against 2 hotel companies and a stalker who took nude videos of her and posted them online. Erin Andrews awarded $55 million. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to keep monitoring that podium. Oh, actually, the attorneys are walking out right now, I'm told, so let's go straight to that.
For Davidson County, and on behalf of Judge Hamilton Gaden, his staff, our security staff, and all of us working in this building, I want to thank each member of the media for covering this case in a professional, courteous, and respectful manner. As you know, this is not a simple task. This building has 11 other courts that were conducting business over the last 2 weeks, and we did not miss a beat. So thanks to all of you for working with us. At this time, the attorneys for the defense will be available to present some statements and ask questions. I'll ask that they introduce themselves as they come to the podium. And following that, I will check with the other side and see if they would like to be available to the press. And I will let you know after the defense. And if we could try to limit this session to about 15 minutes.
Good afternoon. I'm Mark Dedman. That's M-A-R-C-D-E-D-M-A-N. With me are Brent Ussery, U-S-E-R-Y, and Britt Phillips, who represented West End and Windsor. And we'd like to say that we're disappointed with the outcome. Our clients, West End and Windsor, learned of this in 2009 and immediately worked with the FBI to determine how this happened, who was involved, and as a result of their work, Mr. Barrett was eventually arrested and convicted. Again, we are disappointed with the result. We're going to look at the outcome, at the proof, what occurred during the trial with respect to any issues that may exist, and make a decision at that point in time after consultation with our client whether there will be an appeal. I'm sure that question will be asked, so I'll go ahead and answer that. We don't know yet. We've not had a chance to speak with our clients. And at this time, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Mr. Dedman, what kind of message do you think this verdict sends to the hotel industry?
The hotel industry changed as a result of this. Subsequent to Mr. Barrett doing this, and keep in mind, this had never happened before and hadn't happened since. There are all kinds of measures that were undertaken after this was discovered, what Mr. Barrett had done, that have already been implemented. And as a result of that, again, it has not been repeated.
Is this verdict going to scare other hotel chains and operators, do you think, into doing more in regards to security?
I don't know the answer to that question. Hotels, in this case, Marriott didn't own this. This is a group of private investors, individuals who take their money and invest in it. Not only private investors that may do that, but also people who invest in 401ks and pension plans and put their money there for retirement. So the question is, what is that going to do for people who want to invest their money for the future? I don't know the answer to that question. I would hope not, but we'll have to see over time.
Erin, how do you feel? 55 million is a lot of money. Are you surprised by the outcome, the decision of the jury decided?
We're surprised by the outcome, but again, the jury made their decision based upon many factors. We've not had a chance to speak with the jury and don't know what they considered, but I will say we're disappointed by the outcome.
Would that be part of the process, speaking to the jury to deciding to go with you?
In Tennessee, in a state court proceeding, the attorneys for the parties are able to speak to the jury. They're not obligated to speak back to us, but we would like to understand, what the factors they considered, what they did look at, what they evaluated. So we hope to have some information so we can understand that and understand what we need to evaluate to speak further with our clients.
What part do you think Ms. Andrews' testimony played in the jury's decision?
I don't know. That's one of the reasons we'd like to speak with the jury.
In your closing, you asked them not to weigh the emotion, but to weigh the facts. Tell me more about why you said that.
Well, the facts of this case, again, we have always taken the position, our clients have, that this was a crime and Ms. Andrews was a victim of a crime. That has not been in dispute. The question here was, who did that? We all agreed Mr. Barrett did that. The question was whether the hotel management company and or the owner of the hotel also were involved in that terrible act that Mr. Barrett committed because of an issue in the law called foreseeability. So in this case, we don't think that we believe, and we continue to believe, that this was not foreseeable, that what Mr. Barrett did was unforeseeable to the industry, had never occurred prior to that, and again, as I said, has not occurred since then. And that's what we believe was the case.
You said you're disappointed with the outcome. How do you feel about the way your team presented the case?
Well, we think we presented a very good case. You had a chance to observe us. We've not spoken with the jury. I don't know whether there was a question that was not answered for them or whether all the questions were answered and they just disagreed with us. So I don't know how to answer that.
You said this hasn't happened again, but certainly other types of incidents do happen at hotels with clients. Do you think that the security needs to be stepped up at many hotels around the country?
I don't know the answer to that question. I can speak for this hotel on that date. And, and a very important factor is, in this case, we had a hotel expert come in and say that the measures that were undertaken complied with the standard of care that existed in the industry at that time. What you didn't hear was an expert for Ms. Andrews. He didn't testify. It was their hotel expert who was of the opinion that what happened in this case was not foreseeable. He was withdrawn as a witness about a week or two before trial, and so you did not hear from him. He actually agreed with our expert agreed with him is probably the more correct way to say that. So again, our position was and remains to be that it was not foreseeable.
Can you speak at all to any of the changes that have happened since this has occurred at this hotel?
There have been a number of changes that have occurred at this hotel. One is privacy has been redoubled with respect to guests at the hotel. Keep in mind that in this case, Mr. Barrett testified that he never said Ms. Andrews' name to anyone at the hotel. Similarly, the people at the hotel testified that they were never said her name. But that has been redoubled. Secondly, are steps to ensure that something like this wouldn't happen again. For example, behind the peepholes, there's now a little ring that comes down so that couldn't happen, and other steps that they have taken to prevent this from happening again.
Do you think the jury might have been offended or upset that part of your argument was she's done better in her life, this wasn't so bad for her at all?
I'm really glad you asked that question because that was not our argument. Ms. Andrews is a consummate professional. Under the law in Tennessee, and keep in mind, she sued for serious mental injury. And the law in Tennessee requires, in order for there to be a recovery for a serious mental injury, there are certain factors that a jury must consider. For example, in this case, benchmarks that Dr. Brown looked to. One was a personal relationship and whether she was able to maintain them. In this case, she formed a personal relationship, a very serious one, subsequent to this occurrence. Her career skyrocketed. Her income went up. So all the benchmarks that you would look to that would indicate whether someone had a serious mental injury, from our perspective, did not exist. If, in fact, you had a serious mental injury, you wouldn't expect a person to be able to maintain the level of performance that Ms. Andrews did as the consummate professional that she was. And so, again, that is a factor that the expert, Dr. Brown, are factors that the expert, Dr. Brown, considered in her own assessment. So we never said that. We never implied that. I know some people tried to say that we did, but that was not the case at all. Those are legal facts that a court or a jury would look to make the determination of whether there was a serious mental injury.
But do you think that the jury may have, not being astute in every legal nuance, may have been offended by that line of questioning?
I don't know the answer to that question. I've not had a chance to speak with them yet.
If the incident in East Nashville in the restaurant had been disclosed to the jury, do you think that would have made a difference?
Had not been?
If that had been disclosed to the jury, do you think that that would have made any difference?
Well, keep in mind the premise of that was that the incident as reported is how it happened. In fact, Mr. Peskin released a statement as to what happened and was not doing what was alleged to have happened. Some friends that he was with were commenting on the trial, and he asked them to stop it. Unfortunately, we understand that someone saw what the people at the table, which was a husband and wife, were saying about the trial, and that was reported. He immediately sent out an apology about that, again, which was in the press.
Who were those people?
I don't know.
As someone who's done a number of trials, what do you think hurt you the most here?
Well, again, I don't know. I've not had a chance to speak with the jury. 12 people made this decision, and I've not had a chance to speak with any of them yet.
$26 million is a huge chunk of change. Will this company go bankrupt? West End, Windsor, will they be able to succeed further? I mean, I don't know their capitalization, but $26 million is a huge chunk of change.
I don't know the answers to any of those questions. Do you have any questions for?
What was their reaction to the verdict and that number?
Well, I've not had a chance to speak to the people I need to speak to yet. We've just now speaking with you, so I'll speak in more detail with them. I'm sure they're going to likewise be disappointed, though. Would you like to speak with my co-counsel? Any questions for either one of them? Are there any other questions? Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
All right, you've just been listening to the attorneys for the hotel operators there in Nashville, Tennessee, on the news that the jury has awarded Erin Andrews, a sportscaster for Fox Sports and the co-host of Dancing with the Stars, $55 million in that Peeping Tom case of the man Michael Barrett, who posted nude videos of her and posted them online. A jury in Nashville has awarded her $55 million. She just about a minute ago put out a tweet on Twitter, and it says, I'll read it for you. I would like to thank the Nashville court, the court personnel, and the jury for their service. The support I've received from the people of Nashville has been overwhelming. I would also like to thank my family, friends, and legal team. I've been honored by all the support from victims around the world. Their outreach has helped me be able to stand up and hold accountable those whose job it is to protect everyone's safety, security, and privacy. Those are the words of Erin Andrews, just put out on Twitter just about a minute ago. Again, the news that the jury has awarded her $55 million in her lawsuit. She's been claiming $75 million. The jury awarding her $55 million. 49% of that is going to be the responsibility of the hotel operators and the owners, and 51% of that is going to be the responsibility of Michael Barrett, the man who posted those videos online and who stalked her.